Hi dear students, you are welcome in this video. Dear students, we are continuing the series called Hash Literary Terms, and this is the next video in the same series. Here we have three terms to understand in this video, and we will go one by one. Very first we will discuss about burlesque, then we will talk about parody, and last we will talk about travesty. And again there is a variety of burlesque, that is lampoon. So we will discuss all these things with examples. So stay tuned and understand what is the literary terms here we are going to discuss. Here hash 10 literary terms: burlesque, parody and travesty. First, let's understand what is the word burlesque mean and what does it imply. So here we have burlesque, nothing but a mockery or parody of a literary form or work. Let me clear at the very first that burlesque is nothing but it is a mockery, it is a caricature, or you can see it is a comic thing in which mockingly imitates literary form or literary genre. Again you have burlesque in prose or verse, or you also can have burlesque in drama. So there are burlesque dramas, there are burlesque stories, there are burlesque poems. So irrespective of any genre or any form, you find burlesque in that form or in that literary work. It ridicules the literary work. Again we have dignified treatment to trivial subject matter. One thing we need to understand, that in burlesque we find a very dignified treatment to the trivial matter or trivial theme or mean kind of matter which is there in the work. In literary work you may have novel, you may have drama, you may have any kind of literary form. There you find it ridicules. So ridiculing is important in burlesque, or burlesque is nothing but it ridicules or it has a mockery in it. We have grotesque, exaggeration or comic imitation. Again we have three terms: parody, travesty, lampoon, exaggeration. Sometimes these terms are used interchangeably or as similar terms. And again burlesque is a form of satire, so we need to understand that it is a form of satire. Now dear students, let's understand the very definition of burlesque, and here we have a definition from Oxford Dictionary of Literary Terms. I quote: a kind of parody that ridicules some serious literary work either by treating its solemn subject in an undignified style or by its elevated style to a trivial subject, as in Pope's mock epic poem The Rape of the Lock. Now if you look at this term burlesque, you find that in burlesque we have a kind of imitation, and it imitates the form, genre, or again we have literary work, style. So these things are important. Now let's understand what is important in this definition. So I have marked red words so that we can understand the very essence of this definition. Here you see, it is a kind of parody that ridicules some serious literary work. Now we need to understand here, it ridicules some literary work, and that literary work must be serious. Next we are going to discuss the examples, and then you will understand very clearly how serious works are imitated and how they are mockingly parodied. Now parody again is a literary term, or it is similar or interchangeable to burlesque. Parody is nothing but the mimicry, or we can say that it is an imitation of some great work, and we have the imitation in style and form. For example, if you look at John Milton's Paradise Lost, it is imitated. Next we are going to discuss the example of this imitation or parody. And here we have example, the mock epic poem The Rape of the Lock. If you look at Rape of the Lock, you will understand how trivial subject matter is given dignified we can say that form or dignified style. The very theme or the subject matter of this poem The Rape of the Lock is nothing but it is completely based on the lock or hairs of a lady called Belinda, and then there arose the fighting, or we can say that struggle between the elegants in the poem or male in the poem, and the subject matter is a very simple, that is a curl of hair or the lock of a hair of a lady called Belinda. and the treatment given to this subject matter is dignified, is grand. It is like an epic, but it is not epic but mock epic, means it is the mockery of an epic. The style and the subject matter here is trivial. So this is what we can say that happens in burlesque. And there is a type of burlesque called parody. Here I quote, burlesque has been succinctly defined as an incongruous imitation, that is, it imitates the manner, the form and style, or else the subject matter of a serious literary work or a literary genre, in verse or in prose, but makes the imitation amusing by a ridiculous disparity between the manner and the matter. Now let's understand the important words here. So it is an incongruous imitation which imitates the manner, means the form and style, or else the subject matter of a serious literary work or literary genre. Again, it is very simple to understand that it imitates the style or form, and it is an incongruous imitation, means inappropriate imitation, means it is not a perfect imitation. If you are imitating John Milton's style, but in burlesque it is not perfect, it is incongruous, and it imitates the style, it imitates the form, it also imitates the literary work, subject matter, or we can say that genre also. Next, there are examples that how the genre of Gothic novel is imitated in some other works. So we are going to discuss the same. Next, let's understand parody. Parody is nothing but, again, a kind of mocking imitation, and here we have a definition by Chris Baldick. I quote, a mocking imitation of the style of a literary work or works ridiculing the stylistic habits of an author or school by exaggerated mimicry. Parody is related to burlesque in its application of serious styles to ridiculous subjects, to satire in its punishment of eccentricities, and even to criticism in its analysis of style. What is important here? It is a mocking imitation of the style of a literary work or works ridiculing the stylistic habits, and it is related to burlesque. Now it is very clear that parody and burlesque are used as interchangeable terms, or you can use them as similar terms, but there is a thin difference between the two. Parody just imitates or mocks the style and form, and in burlesque you have different types of things to imitate or to mock. Here in parody we have a very simple thing, that it is based on the style or form, and it imitates or mocks, it ridicules the style or form. Next, let's understand from M.H. Abrams and Geoffrey Halpams, what is parody. So a parody imitates the serious manner and characteristic features of a particular literary work, or the distinctive style of a particular author, or the typical stylistic and other features of a serious literary genre, and deflates the original by applying the imitation to a lowly or comically inappropriate subject. Again, it is a very broader definition given by M.H. Abrams. In this definition, we understand that in parody, not only the very form or style is imitated, but sometimes you have subject matter too for the imitation or ridicule. You can find that the subject matter, form, or dignified style is ridiculed in such type of works. Now let's understand the examples of all these forms. Before that, let's know how this burlesque and parody is used. Now burlesque, parody and travesty, these three terms are interchangeably used. Again, burlesque is a broader term to parody and travesty. If you want to differentiate between these three terms, it's very simple. Burlesque is a generic term, and under burlesque we have parody and travesty. Actually, this parody and travesty are the kinds of burlesque, or you can say these are the species of burlesque. It's very clear. So burlesque is a broader term to parody and travesty. Now let's understand the varieties of burlesque. There are some varieties or kinds of burlesque. We can divide burlesque into two broad categories, that is high burlesque or the low burlesque. These two are there, and in high burlesque again we have two types. Let's understand those types. In high burlesque we have parody. For example, as we have understood the very definition of parody, it is the imitation or it is the ridiculous imitation of a subject matter, or we can say that form or style. And here we have examples of the same. So here we have John Phillips' The Splendid Shillings, and it is the parody of the epic style of John Milton's Paradise Lost. As I already told you that this Splendid Shillings is based on the grand style of John Milton's Paradise Lost. So it imitates, mockingly imitates, or it ridicules the style of John Milton's epic, that is Paradise Lost. Next we have Henry Fielding's Joseph Andrews, which is based on Samuel Johnson's work or novel Pamela or Virtue Rewarded. We have both titles, Pamela or Virtue Rewarded, and we have mockery of this Pamela or Virtue Rewarded in Joseph Andrews by Henry Fielding. So if you look at both the works, you find how Samuel Johnson's style or form is imitated or ridiculed by Henry Fielding in his Joseph Andrews. Next example, we have Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey. As I already discussed, that it is not only the parody or imitation of the style, dignified style or form, but the genre too. Here we have a genre called Gothic novel, and you find in Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey how this Gothic novel or how this Gothic genre is imitated or mocked or ridiculed in Northanger Abbey. Next we have Hartley Coleridge's parodied William Wordsworth's poem She Dwelt Among the Untrodden Ways. If you read this poem or the very first stanza, you will understand this first stanza is related or directly imitation of William Wordsworth, or these lines are composed for William Wordsworth himself. Next again we have in high burlesque the second type or second category, that is mock epic or mock heroic poem. I quote, is that type of parody which imitates in a sustained way both the elaborate form and the ceremonious style of the epic genre, but applies it to narrate a commonplace or trivial subject matter. I unquote. Now if you look at this definition, you will understand that the very trivial or mean subject is given the grand style or the grand treatment, and this is the definition of mock heroic or mock heroic poem. And we have very famous example, The Rape of the Lock by Alexander Pope. And next example we have Thomas Gray's Ode on the Death of a Favorite Cat. Now you see that most of the times the odes are written to a very celebrated person. Here you find ode is written on the death of a cat. Now cat may be a trivial subject or mean kind of subject in literature, but it has given the grandeur treatment or the grand treatment or the dignified treatment by Thomas Gray. Next, second variety we have low burlesque, and in low burlesque again we have two types. Very first is Hudibrastic poem. I quote, take its name from Samuel Butler's Hudibras, which satirized rigid Puritanism by describing the adventures of a Puritan knight, Sir Hudibras. Knightly hero experiencing mundane and humiliating misadventures which are described in doggerel verses and a ludicrously colloquial idiom. Again here it is very clear that the misadventures, very word suggests us that misadventures means the knight is treated as trivial. So knight is something, a grand person in the society or in a court of a king, but here he has given a very ridiculous treatment, and hence we can say that it is Hudibrastic poem. So Hudibras is a novel composed by Samuel Butler, and we find the treatment given is very low to a dignified subject matter like knight or knightly deeds. B. Travesty. Again I quote, mocks a particular work by treating its lofty subject in a grotesquely undignified manner and style. I unquote. Here we have examples, the New Yorker's Across the Street and Into the Bar. It is a travesty of Ernest Hemingway's novel Across the River and Into the Trees. Next we have the film called Young Frankenstein. It is the travesty of Mary Shelley's novel Frankenstein. So it is very clear from the definition that how a dignified subject is given undignified treatment, means a grand subject given a very low or trivial kind of treatment in this travesty. And these two examples suggest that how travesty is employed in the literary works. For example, we have Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It is called the first science fiction or sci-fi in English literature, and based on this first sci-fi we have Young Frankenstein. If you go to YouTube or internet, if you type this Young Frankenstein, you will find the Hollywood movie called Young Frankenstein, and it is nothing but the travesty of this Frankenstein composed by Mary Shelley. So dear students, next variety here we have lampoon, and I quote, another form of burlesque in the lampoon, a short satirical work or a passage in a longer work which describes the appearance and character of a particular person in a way that makes that person ridiculous. It typically employs caricature. I unquote, and here we have a very famous example by John Dryden's Absalom and Achitophel included a famed 25-line lampoon of Zimri, the Duke of Buckingham, and the Duke of Buckingham, Zimri, was contemporary of John Dryden. Now lampoon again is nothing but a caricature. As you see in the newspapers that there are many caricatures, and in caricatures we have some kind of personal traits are exposed or exaggerated, and then we understand how that person looks as in graphic you see on the newspaper. Or in the same way we have this lampoon in the literature or in the novels, and here we have example of John Dryden's Zimri. There are 25 lines he composed based on this character called Zimri. So dear students, this is all about the burlesque, parody, travesty and its kinds or its varieties. I hope you understood all these things. Still, if you have any problem, any query, you can comment below in the comment section. I will answer to your comments. So thank you very much for watching the complete video. Please like this video, share this video among your friends and subscribe to our channel Literature Simply. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you.